I'm supposed to do, haunted by the ghost of you. Take me back to the night we met. Ooh. I had all and then most of you, something now none of you. Take me back to the night we met. Wow, I really loved Phoebe, and it's amazing to see how many more people did this. This is powerful. It's beautiful. Thank you guys for being here. Man, I looked down for 2 songs and looked up, and yeah, a bunch of faces looking at me. I'm not sure how long I'm supposed to play, but I've got one more. Okay. I wrote this song when I was in a real familiar place. I've got wings, and I've got the air, but I'm sick of them telling me everything will be alright, I swear. 'Cause I'm full of all this, I don't really want to. I am coughing and bleeding in invisible blood, and I'm ready as ever to just pull the plug. So save me, 'cause I'm ready to do it again. Unchain me from this life, this pre-hell that I'm in. The razor's still sharp and the pistol's still loaded. I've discovered life's secrets, I'm locked and decoded them, but didn't find anything. 'Cause I'm a flightless plane, I'm a rock that has wings, I'm a useful tool you can use to screw up everything. I'm a breathing paradox just like everyone else. My one single difference is I'm only held from the inside. Religion's no use, I got substance abuse, and it makes me feel better than God. Disown me, unfriend me, I've unfriended myself. Cast me aside, put me back on that shelf. What I won't say, but I need is for you to save me, 'cause I'm ready to do it again. Unchain me from this life, this pre-hell that I'm in. The razor's still sharp and the pistol's still loaded. I've discovered life's secrets, I'm locked and decoded them, but didn't find anything. I was for you, Phoebe.
Well, there's some folks still trickling in at this point, but it seems we are met, and I am probably going to cry up here. So, um, thank you for being here today or watching on YouTube. Phoebe's family is up in Washington, and so we've got even more folks in the room today with us. So, this is really quite an amazing turnout. And thank you all for coming to celebrate the life of Phoebe Green with me. My name is Brad Gilbert. I was a friend and neighbor to Phoebe in the last few years, and I'm truly grateful for the turnout that we have today. We are live streaming the memorial today, so even though we may be divided geographically, there are even more folks in this room right now, like I just said, in Phoebe's memory, which is a testament to the love that she just spread all over this world. Before we kick off, I just have a couple of housekeeping announcements and thank yous. Firstly, I'd like to thank Lauren Grace and Meg Traverso and Stacy Leparati for helping me put this event together. Thank you to Unity of the Hill Country for allowing us this space today. Thank you, Grape Juice and Meg, for all the yummy snacks, all the vegan snacks that, of course, Phoebe would have it no other way. So you're stuck with it. And thank you, Matthew Butler, for your gift of music. And most of all, I'd like to thank Phoebe's parents for the gift of life that they gave us to share with Phoebe. Some other announcements. You may have noticed there's these tie-dyed bandanas out there, so grab one while they last. They're our little token for you to remember Phoebe by. Also in the front hall, if you didn't see, we're not doing a guest book, but what we are doing is we are writing little personalized cards to Phoebe. So it's a private message, but the parents will be reading. We're going to send these off to the family. So no dirty secrets or anything like that, unless you want the parents to know. So please, as a parting gift, please do that on your way out if you haven't already. In lieu of flowers, we have got some lovely flowers donated, but the family asked to donate to the Noah Sanctuary, which was, Phoebe had a pet goat for about a year, and she could not keep her, and she ended up sending her to the Noah Sanctuary. I believe it's in Bernie, or it's somewhere nearby. And we've raised $550 towards the sanctuary already. So thank you for everybody at that. I'm now going to read the eulogies as written by the parents. This is the eulogy from David Green, her father. I first met my daughter, Phoebe May Green, on the morning of May 2nd, 2000, when she was born in our home with the help of a friend and a midwife. I say I first met her that day, but the truth is I felt like I had known her for a very long time already. I caught her as she entered the world, and she looked up at me with those blue eyes that all babies seem to start with, eyes that in her case never really changed. As I looked up, seeing only light and shadow, I looked down. As she looked up, seeing only light and shadow, I looked down, and for the first time, we had shared a gaze across lifetimes many, many times before. Phoebe was, without a doubt, an old soul, full of boisterous Taurus magic. A few weeks before she was born, Phoebe named herself from the womb. Lori called me at my overnight pharmacy job to say the baby hadn't moved in days. Phoebe was breech, and every night we would talk to her, coaxing her gently to turn. So at 2 a.m, Lori spoke to her again. The baby name list was short, so she asked, "Is your name Rose?" Nothing. "Is your name Mary?" Still nothing. The name Phoebe wasn't on that short list, but suddenly it had come to Lori, uninvited and perfect. "Is your name Phoebe?" she asked. A kick. "Did you just say your name is Phoebe?" Another kick. Within a week, Phoebe had turned. Soon after that, she was born and joined our family exactly as she had decided. She came out our Miss May, our copper tiger, our pumpkin. Phoebe adored her brother Max. The two of them spent countless hours talking about music, movie, and books, small universes shared between siblings who understood each other deeply. She spent a great deal of time with her grandmother, Kathy, who taught her about spirituality, movies, service, and everything in between. Together, they traveled to Europe, to England, and to South America, journeys that shaped Phoebe and filled her with stories and perspective. She loved her uncles Chuck and Brian, as well as Brian's wife and their daughters. She cherished her time with grandmother Bev, picking berries that would become pies, and all of her relatives in the Chicagoland area held a special place in her heart. Even during her wildest moments when she was dancing on the ceiling, Phoebe's love for people never wavered. She had a deep, instinctive compassion for strangers, for those less fortunate, for anyone who needed her laugh, her time, or her help. She gave without hesitation. Now all of us carry what I can only call a Phoebe hole. Nothing will ever replace what has been lost, but that space she leaves behind can only become a place where we honor her, where we fill it with positivity, love, and with service to others. Because that is what Phoebe gave us, that is what she taught us, and that is how her spirit can continue on in each of us. Phoebe's mother, Lori, also writes, Phoebe has given us the sacred opportunity to practice acceptance. And I ask God to free our minds from the urgency to understand. Phoebe has returned to wholeness. She's returned home. She's divinely reunited with pure love. She is finally free and at peace. We seek solace in the love for Phoebe, knowing that it remains unbroken by time and space. The family would like to thank the community of Kerrville, Unity, Arcadia Live, and especially the recovery community for embracing and loving and honoring Phoebe. We are eternally grateful to each and every one of you. And now I'm going to stop blubbering and pass it off to Philip Schultman.
I want to take it in. Yeah, I echo what what's been said in terms of the gratitude for everybody being here. It's moving me, and I was instructed, and I wanted to honor this in honoring Phoebe, bring the spirit of positivity and service and love. But honestly, there's not all that. There's other things that exist to me. I grew up in a home where plates were thrown in holes in the wall where it's punched, and sometimes that's what comes up, and most people don't see that. The Reverend Philip doesn't act that out, but sometimes it's in there, and I want it to be real. We, friends of Phoebe, the several communities represented here, and her family on viewing on streaming, we are united in remembrance of Phoebe. We are here to pay our respects, to honor her memory, to give thanks for the blessing of having known her, and to mourn the loss caused by her death. I thank Lauren Grace for asking me to speak today, and for Brad for giving me some guidance, clarity about how I might be of service. I also want to thank Unity Church for providing this facility, not only today, but so many times. As I serve as the pastor of UU Church a few short blocks from here, people regularly mix up our names, And I always tell them that the Unity congregation is our cousins. Phoebe and many of us have enjoyed fellowship, love, support, and acceptance here. I give thanks to this congregation and the community, all the communities here that were here for Phoebe, and that she showed up. She showed up right here many times to share her beautiful self with us. I met Phoebe soon after I moved to Kerrville in the spring of 2021. I was spoken openly in a support group about difficulties I was having as a result of a traumatic brain injury from 2017. She came up to me after the meeting. She let me know how she could relate to what I said. Her voice was so calm at that moment, so calm, so filled with acceptance. As a new person in town struggling with disability, her generosity of spirit provided me a space to be myself and have a sense of connection. I'm sure that many of us were graced with Phoebe's kind way of extending herself. I stayed in contact with Phoebe. Many times when I didn't see for a while, I would reach out to her. I pray that she experienced from me something of what she provided for me. Phoebe's mother and father have said many things that resonate with me. Lauren Grace told me that they wanted today to reflect Phoebe's spirit, her laugh, her positivity, her encouragement. The intention was made clear to honor her memory. As her parents suggested, there are many ways we can honor Phoebe's memory. One way I wish to do this is to try to create space for each of us to be able to feel and go through whatever we feel now or in the future in relationship to Phoebe. It is absolutely okay to remember Phoebe with joy. Oddly, one of the ways to create space for joy is to also create space for grief to flow, and anger and the whole lot. Many of us have a lot to learn about creating space for ourselves and others to grieve. This is a good learning we can do together. I would suggest that one way we honor our memory of Phoebe is to reach out for support and connection, to decide to become willing to grieve, to let that flow, to allow more to be revealed to us. This work of creating space was sacred to Phoebe, and we can honor her by continuing, by doing our own work. I ask you now, or sometime when you're willing, to remember Phoebe, to notice whatever you're feeling, and to ask yourself what gift she might have given you, or what gift she might want to impart to you. Once we have something in mind, some quality we associate with her, we can then choose to honor her by carrying it with us. This is called allowing her memory to be for a blessing. We carry that blessing in her name. I wish to end by sharing a blessing. It's this very short meditation written by Reverend Rebecca Parker, put to words by Elizabeth Norton. The first two times begins with the word me, and the last with the word us. If you catch on quickly, if you are at all inclined to join in, please do. If you enjoy providing harmony that much more. And now God gives me all these directions, and I'm really, okay, could you give me a starting note? There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. Us. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. Amen and blessings.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Greg Butler. To Phoebe's family who's watching in Washington, hello. I've heard a lot about all of you. My relationship with Phoebe started in June of 2020. That was a crazy year. June was insane. And there was a series of events that had led us to deciding that we needed some kind of outlet, and we needed to be outside. So we went to the park. And that's where I met Phoebe. And she caught my eye right away. I'm a joke, guys. I'm a caricature. I'm a meme. I truly am. I'm Charlie Brown. I am not any different than that character. And I'm that simple, truly. There's a little redhead girl, and she was sitting on a blanket out in the park. And there's no way that a little redhead girl's not going to catch my eye. And she was very young, right? And she was her eyes were so bright. And so she caught my eye, and we continued to come to group together in this park and talk about things. And I learned a little bit about her, not much, because she wouldn't talk. She was really shy and she wouldn't talk. But I could see the people she was hanging out with, and that gave me solace. And really, our relationship didn't really start there with words or anything like that. I knew who she was, and she knew who I was, and we kind of agreed that we kind of liked each other. But that was about as far as it went. And Phoebe stayed around. A lot of people don't hang out in Kerrville, especially the young ones. They come here for a little bit, take a hit, and then they're gone, right? And it's too little for them. But Phoebe found a group of people, and that kept her. And you're the people, and I don't know most of you. And that's the truth. I don't know most of you because I didn't have a relationship with Phoebe that was out in a group, that was out in the open, that was anything like that, because it really started at HEB when she was having a little bit of trouble and probably got into some stuff she wasn't feeling good about, and was hanging out with some people she wasn't liking hanging out with. And we walked past each other one time in the HEB, and I stopped and I looked at her and I said, "Hey, how are you? I miss you. I haven't seen you in a while." And she said, "Man, we need to talk." And that's where the relationship really started. And it was a private relationship between her and I. And it included a lot of things, driving instructions, how to budget, a lot of things. She was young. And it was real easy for me because when Phoebe showed up, I was at a certain point in my life where my children were leaving the house. My youngest was actually going out the year that I met her. He was going to college and leaving. And she was the same age as my middle child, right? So there was a thing there that I can't deny, the biological piece of the father in me that was losing children and could see somebody. And I mean, we took her camping in West Texas one time, my wife and I, and obviously redheads. And so, you know, but when we go to dinner, you know, out in West Texas, you know, I mean, everybody just assumes this is a family. You know, there's the daughter and the mom and the dad, and it was just that's just how it always kind of felt and how it always was. So Phoebe and I talked about a lot of stuff because we had hours and hours and hours to talk, usually at her place or in a park somewhere. And we'd talk about boys, a lot about boys. There was a lot of boys, a lot of boy talk, not a lot of boys, a lot of boy talk. And we talked about God. We talked a lot about God. And Phoebe was, I love to hear the words that David spoke in the eulogy there, because that's exactly right. It's exactly my experience with her. I'm going to hold it together. These are not tears of sadness. These are tears of joy thinking about Phoebe, by the way. I'll tell you when they're tears of sadness. She was one of those like truly innocent. Like from the moment I saw her, she was truly like there was an innocence, and there was we call it a age soul or a wisdom. I don't know that that's accurate. A childlike understanding of the world that was never going to stop, and I share that with her. I fought it my whole life, just like she fought it, because the world doesn't like that childlike attitude towards the world. And it tries to break it. And so we shared that, and we talked about the tools that we could use to maintain that in our lives, which was she had a powerful mind. She was really smart. Guys, she was really smart. I've been around some really smart people, and Phoebe is in the top categories there. I don't know what her scores were or anything like that, but I can tell you that we're very high. And so we would talk about our creativity and our imagination and where we could go in our heads and how we could form and really model our own reality. We talked a lot about deep stuff like that, like how our minds work. And how our consciousness is real and how it's not constrained. And so now it's sad because I'm not gonna miss her. I'm not the same now. I'm not the same now. So that's the context of the relationship. That's enough about that. I did do something that I haven't done in 40 years, probably, well, since that girl in high school. I wrote a poem. I did. I don't even know why. I don't even know why. I found out she died when I was driving back from my Christmas vacation in Washington, D.C. on a phone call. And I'm grateful for that phone call, because it's the only, I didn't want to find out on social media like that. I didn't want any, not for Phoebe. So I'm grateful that it was personal and people close to her, and that they knew that I was close and reached out right away. But in that moment, and my wife was with me, in that moment, I knew that the world had just changed. I see a lot of people die, guys. I've seen a lot of people I know die. But there's sometimes it's different, and so I had to write about it, and I knew it right away. I knew what the title of this poem was the minute that I got that phone call, and I knew I was going to write it. I just didn't know what it was going to say. So help me, God, get through this. Walk with me. We come into being with no understanding of why. We learn from the cruel world that we're not meant to fly. The weight of it all is enough to overwhelm, but in inward thought, creativity, and imagination is our realm. Come walk with me and tell me a story that I don't already know. Walking together is magic. It's a journey, but we have no real places to go. The walk is the purpose, but what is the why? Come talk to me and show me where you learned to fly. Show me your soul and I'll show you mine. Now we're connected through all space and time. I know you can fly, but I still need to walk. I'll hold the flame until our next little talk. Talk to me and show me where you learned to fly. Stay with me so we can laugh and never have to cry. Thanks. I love Phoebe.
Hi, my name is Lindy, and I have not yet found my words, but Greg had a lot of them that he just spoke. And thanks, Phil, for encouraging to making that space for the grief, because all of this still seems so unreal for me. And I haven't had my support group around me to even embrace this kind of thing. I'm still sending her my gratitude lists in the morning. So, but I'm here going to read for our mutual friend, Tammy Keller, who could not be here today. She wrote a reading for Phoebe. And I think Greg and Tammy and I all shared this kindred feeling for Phoebe. And so I'm going to read this from Tammy Keller. Phoebe was young in years, but never young in spirit. She was vibrant, thoughtful, and far ahead of her time. Someone whose words and presence carried a wisdom that exceeded her age. Those who knew her knew how fitting her name was. Phoebe, meaning bright and radiant, and she truly lived as her namesake. She brought light into the spaces that she entered, not loudly or forcibly, but gently, with intention, kindness, and authenticity. Phoebe cared deeply about how she lived in the world. She nourished her body with care and walked wherever she went and moved through life thoughtfully and deliberately. She was giving, loving, and deeply considerate of her friends. She listened well, she spoke with meaning, and she often said things that stopped you in your tracks because they were so insightful, so grounding, and so far beyond her years. On a spiritual level, Phoebe was beautifully attuned. We shared a deep resonance of a sense of understanding that didn't always need words. I valued her perspective, her companionship, and her presence more than she probably ever knew. Her passing was unexpected, and it has left a profound ache. There's an empty space where Phoebe belongs in my heart, and she is deeply missed. And yet, I don't believe that she is truly gone. I believe she has simply moved on to a different assignment, that her work here was completed, that her light has carried forward into another place. Phoebe's life, though far too brief, was meaningful. She mattered. She made an impact, and the brightness that she brought into this world continues to live on in all that loved her. May we remember her with gratitude, speak her name with warmth, and carry her spirit forward in kindness and in mindfulness and in light. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Whitney Welch. So I want to be brief, but I want to talk a little bit about Phoebe because I've known her since the day she got here. And you know, a lot of people come in and out, and you meet them, and sometimes you'll get to know somebody and get close with them, and you can't really remember when you first met them or what they like, but that wasn't the case with Phoebe. I mean, Phoebe made an impact right away, and you know, I think one of the truest things that that her father said when Brad was reading that was that Phoebe was an old soul, and I think that we can all agree to that. When I met Phoebe, she was probably 19 or 20, but she was 90. I mean, she liked Afghans and you know, little knit things and kerchiefs, and you know, that was just her. It wasn't for lack of having other things or anything like that. It's just that's what she felt close to, and I know she would speak about her grandmother often, and some really cool things that they had done together. And Phoebe was so talented. You know, she played the guitar. I just assumed she was probably around in the 60s, you know, like in the Haight-Ashbury area. And, you know, and then you know, she came back to us and came to Kerrville. And I didn't know much when she was coming other than another friend of ours from the Seattle area had been contacted from someone and just said, you know, I got this girl and she's great and she's sweet, but I think she needs to get out of Washington for a little bit. And I'm sure that was terrifying to be told you're going to Kerrville, Texas. That probably sounds awful. But Phoebe embraced it from the get-go, and it was an adjustment, but she still kept her same. I mean, Phoebe walked everywhere. I mean, y'all see, I mean, you know, we all know people who like need to go to the gas station 2 blocks away, and they're not going to go until someone drives them, you know. And Phoebe, like sometimes I would see her walking really, really far away, and I'd do a U-turn and I'd go and be like, Phoebe, you know, where are you going? And she was like, oh, I'm going to this place. There was still another like couple of miles down the road. And I'm like, you know, it was like August, you know, and I'm like, girl, would you like a ride? She's like, no, I've timed it so that I can get there, you know, before my appointment. And that's just how she was. She was so resilient. You know, Brad was talking about the notes to her family that are up there, and I did. I went ahead and wrote mine before the service, and one thing I expressed to her family is like, I don't ever remember Phoebe complaining ever, no matter what was going on in her life, and she lived in a house I had for her first couple years. And it didn't matter what was going on. Phoebe just made it work. I mean, she could have a job that literally paid her $5 an hour, and she would like figure out her food and her rent. I mean, she just, and one time she had been moved up to a management position, and I didn't know that, I guess in the moving, the bed broke. Like, it broke in a way that I guess the bed frame broke, and it was like this, but I didn't know for months. Like, she never said anything. Like, that was Phoebe's bed, and you know, she was in a room by herself, so there wasn't a roommate to be like, oh, her bed's broken. And I found it out much later, and I'm like, Phoebe, I mean, I went in there and saw it, and it was like this. You know, like she would just have to get up in a little ball. And I said, Phoebe, why didn't you tell me, you know, so that you could get a new bed? She was like, well, it was fine. You know, I just stayed on this end of it. And, and I was like, oh my goodness, we're getting a new bed today. Bless your heart. But she just made everything work, no matter the circumstances. And that was always very inspiring to me because I can find that, you know, I try to stay in gratitude like Phoebe and you know, I really have nothing bad going on, but I can complain about little. I can complain about the weather, you know. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Okay. But Phoebe just, no matter what was going on, she would make it work. And sometimes there would be stretches where I wouldn't see Phoebe for quite some time, and then she would just call and she would say, "I really need to talk about something. You seem like a good person to talk to." So I would go get her, and we usually just she would get her in my car. I'd go pick her up, and we would just go to like the HEB parking lot or something, and we would talk. And she always was willing to find a solution to something. She never stayed in, well, this sucks, and I don't know what to do. I mean, she was just like, let me get someone else's opinion or someone else's insight or suggestion, and then she would follow up and say, hey, I did what you said, and this is what happened, and so just Phoebe had I know everyone in here knew Phoebe, so she just had the sweetest soul, and I know that she is passing on that positivity and that just resilient spirit even today. And I would like to have more of an attitude like Phoebe, and so I don't know why, but since she did pass away, I kind of like talk to her, or I think to myself, like, what would Phoebe would be cool with this. She wouldn't complain, it's like, how am I going to get, oh yeah, I mean, she really did make anything work. One of the speakers I saw that couldn't be here, Allie, they were roommates for a long time. And so Allie would tell me a lot of things. She's like, I don't know how Phoebe makes it work, but like every time she her job barely, but she pays her rent and she always has her food. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I mean, I remember that from when she lived at my house, and she just made the absolute best out of everything. And okay, and I came across it. Phoebe and I would talk about poetry sometime, and I'm a big Robert Frost fan, and so this is really short, but I came across it earlier, and just I thought it was something Phoebe would like. But it's called Stay, and it says, nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold, her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down today, nothing gold can stay. And I feel like Phoebe was one of those rare gold tokens that we come across, and we can't have them forever, but goodness, we are blessed to have had Phoebe in our lives for the time that we did. And I think if we all have more of a Phoebe Green attitude, we would all get through our day a lot better and be a lot better for it. So thank you, guys.
Well, I knew if we had any technical difficulties, it would be Phoebe playing a joke on us all. I said that earlier today. So I just want to share a real quick story about the last couple times I saw Phoebe. She famously walked everywhere. We know that, right? And I live a couple blocks away from her. And some of you may know that I was very sick last year, and I did not make it down her block very much that year. And some godshot said, hey, go take a turn. You have the energy today to go take a turn, walk the dog down her road. And I'm just so grateful for this little conversation that we had, because she had this way of just being so raw and authentic. It was just, I walked up, I was like, hey, I haven't seen you in so long. And she's like, I'm not good, man. I'm not there. It was just like, And that was just and then we had our little check-in, and that's just kind of the way it was. And it was always just this raw authenticity. And I just hope we all carry that and challenge ourselves to just be honest in that way, right? I think, Matthew, you have one more song for us. Yeah, and we're gonna we'll break up after a little music. I think the time for tears is over, and we'll have some laughs after this. So Matthew is going to play one more song for us, and then we have a lovely catered meal from Grape Juice. So thank you, everyone, for coming today.
So nervous to play this. It's a song that just kind of poured out of me last night for her. So this is like the first time I'm playing it, but I think she would like it. We're both Tauruses. When we would hang out, it was just like always just like good food, good movies, good talks, and comfy clothes. Yeah, I miss her a lot. There's a sweetness I can name, a beauty that's unique. They might pin it down to dim the power of your mistake. It's an energy I recognize, a look I can't unsee. The feeling so familiar, 'cause at times it's still in me. It starts just a thought, creeping in like the tide. They could still throw you a line, but you got too much pride. Emotional currents pulls you far away, and once you drifted too far, I can't hear what you say. I won't care what you say. The rivers rise, the forests burn, precious light. Can you stop the wheels turn? The rivers rise, forests burn, precious light. The wheel turns. There's a light I'd never seen until it brightened up my sky. A sneaky little star, unaware of how she shines. The emptiness of space, cosmic chaos of the infinite, can leave even God's brightest feeling pretty insignificant. The red sunrise, breathing earth indoors, precious life, and the wheel turns. Rivers rise, forests burn, precious light, the wheel turns. You're never alone. You are not lost at sea. You are loved, you belong, so delicate, strong, wild, young, and carefree. Yeah, rivers rise, the forest burn, precious light, the wheel turn. Thank you.
It's the end of our gathering, folks. So please enjoy some food, share some memories, give hugs, all that good stuff. Thank you. Enjoy.